Hey guys, in this session we'll be looking at the MCAT paper from 2015. This is day 2 that was done on Thursday. Okay, so off we go. So the first question here, it's asking you to factorize this particular quadratic. The way I've done it is that, I don't know, you might have a different way of doing this, but I actually multiply 2 times 18, which is 36. And I'm looking for a combination of numbers that multiply to 36 and add to minus 15. And I kind of know that the combination of numbers here is going to be negative 12 and negative 3. And yeah, basically negative 12 times negative 3 is 36. And negative 12 plus negative 3 is going to be negative 15. So what that means is I'm going to split this negative 15x up. So I'm going to have 2x squared. And instead of writing it as minus 15x, I'm going to write it as minus 12x minus 3x and then plus 18. At this point, I'm going to separate this particular quadratic into two parts. I'm going to factorize the left-hand side first. So 2x is my common factor. So I can take out 2x as a common factor, and I have x minus 6. While on the right-hand side, I could take out negative 3 as a common factor, which means I would get x minus 6. Now I have x minus 6 and x minus 6 as common factors, so I could write this as x minus 6 and 2x minus 3. Okay, and that's how you do the first question, which happens to be an achieved question. Go, off to the next question. So in this question, we've got a swing, and we've been given that h is actually the height of the rope above the ground at a distance x meters from the left-hand side. So obviously this is your left-hand side here of the frame. So it's modeled by this particular equation. Okay, so they're asking you what's the height of the swing when x equals to 2. So all we really have to do is h is equal to, when x is 2, so we write the formula as it is, and then we substitute where x is equal to 2. So we're going to have 2 and 2 minus 1 plus 2. And this could be written as 2 times 1 plus 2, which means h is equal to 4. And this is another achieved question. Okay, next question. So here we have a quadratic, and we've been asked for what values of x will y be negative. Now, if you had actually seen the previous series or videos in this series, you would know that for this question, you would actually have to find out the x-intercepts and then work backwards. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down y equals to 0 to find my x-intercepts. So I'm going to have 0 equals x squared plus 4x minus 12. When I factorize this, I get x plus 6 and x minus 2. And when I solve these two equations, so I have x plus 6 equals 0, or x minus 2 equals to 0. I'm going to get x is negative 6 and x is positive 2. So what this means is that, if I can show you guys, I will create a rough Cartesian plane here. So my two x-intercepts are, one's at negative 6 and the other one is at a positive 2. Now, having a look at this particular graph, because it is a positive x squared, I know that positive x squared is a parabola and it's happy, and it's going to look like this. So in terms of the graph fitting into these x-intercepts, it's going to look something along the lines like this. Right now, I know it's not a perfect parabola, but I just want you guys to see the idea here. So the question is actually asking, when will y be negative? And you can see that the y value is negative when it's below the x-axis, and the graph is below the x-axis all along here, all the way up to just before 2. So we can basically say y will be negative y will be negative between -6 and +2. Really important, guys, that you don't actually put that little equal sign in the less than or equal to sign. I'm talking about here. So as I said in my previous video, some people write this as this, and this is actually incorrect, because at -6 and +2, the graph is actually equal to 0. So it's actually incorrect. Okay, so in terms of grades, you're looking at a merit if you get the final part, and factorize expression with endpoints in. So achieved is, by the looks of it, factorize expression. Okay, so it could be this, and if you actually write that with an equal sign, that's what an achieved is going to be. All right, let's go to the next question. So with this question, we got someone that's training for a triathlon. There's a whole lot of stuff here. You can pause and read if you want, but I'm more interested in this part right here, which is the equation that's actually been given to us. Now, D is actually standing for the distance, and N stands for the number of weeks. And the question is asking how many weeks will it take him to be running 112 Ks per week. So what we can do then is we can write this as 112 equals 7 times 2n minus 1. So the first step is obviously dividing both sides by 7, because I want to get rid of that 7. So 112 divided by 7 is 16. Now if you're having trouble dividing 112 by 7, I guess the best way to do it is split up 112 as, because you're doing 7 times 10 can be written as 70. And then you've got 112 take away 70 is 42. So 7 times what number is 42? That number is there, got to be 6. So we can write that 112 divided by 7 is 10 plus 6, which is 16. Just a quick little tip. But anyway, going back to this question. So we got 16 equals 2 to the power of n minus 1. 16 we can write as 2 to the power of 4 equals 2 to the power of n minus 1. Now that we have both the bases are the same, we could say that the power is going to be the same, which means n minus 1 equals 4. Therefore, n is equal to 5. Okay, so for this answer, you can actually leave it as n equals 5, or you can write as the answer as after the 4th week. So grades wise, you're looking at a merit for this part here. Simplifies equation or an equation. So achieved is, I'm guessing somewhere here, just rearranging and putting that as 16 equals that. Okay, that's it for this question. We go to the next one. Alright guys, for this particular question, I think in the previous video in this series I did a similar question like this, and also in the excellence worked answers you'll find a fully detailed version of this type of question, or at least in a similar way. So anyway, I'm going to have a look at this question, and I'm going to show you guys what the mistake is and how we're going to actually get only one solution. So what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at Shari's actual expanding and look through each of her steps to see if everything works out. So looking at here, 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times -1 is -4, so that's all correct. 3 times x squared is 3x squared, that's correct. So 4x squared is correct, minus 4 is right, 3x squared is right. Now 3x squared times 2x is actually plus 6x. And I think that's where the first mistake is. So 3 times 1 is 3, that's fine. So the first mistake that she's actually made is in this line here. She should have had 3x squared plus 6x plus 3. Okay, so that's the first mistake. Now let's say if that mistake is fixed, so then we could have this as 4x squared minus 4 equals 3x squared plus 6x plus 3. And if we rearrange this, we're going to get 4x squared minus 3x squared. We've got minus 6x minus 4 minus 3 equals to 0. When we simplify this, we're going to get x squared minus 6x minus 7 equals to 0. And when we factorize this, we have x minus 7 and x plus 1 equals to 0. So from here, I'll go all the way to the top there. So we can say that x minus 7 equals to 0, or x plus 1 equals to 0. And my two answers are x equals to 7 and x equals to minus 1. Now, obviously the teacher is actually telling you here that this only has one valid solution. So what's important is I take my two values, which is 7 and negative 1, and I substitute it in this equation to see whether they work out. So I'm going to do 7 first. All right, so with 7, I'm going to write my equation down. So I've got x squared minus 1 over x squared plus 2x plus 1. And when I substitute 7 and negative 1, I should be looking at an answer of 3 out of 4. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to put x equals to 7 and show you guys what happens. So I've got 7 squared minus 1 divided by 7 squared plus 2 times 7 and then plus 1. So when I do this, I get 49 minus 1 divided by 49 plus 14 plus 1. And this is 48 over 64. And this can be simplified as, because 48, I mean, just simplifying this, I'm going to get 3 over 4. So for x equals to 7, it actually works. Now I'm going to try x equals to minus 1. So when I do this, I have negative 1 squared minus 1 divided by negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 and then plus 1. Now straight away I'm starting to see problems here because negative 1 squared is 1, 1 minus 1, I'm going to get 0 in the top. And at the bottom there, negative 1 squared is 1, plus 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, plus 1. And what I have is 0 over 0, and this is not possible because you can't have a solution when dividing by 0. So this doesn't work. So my only solution in this case is when x is equal to 7. Okay, so in terms of grades, if you can prove to this point here that not here, maybe I should put it here, hold up. So when you get to this part, to prove that there's only one answer, you are looking at an excellence. Correct factorizing and giving two solutions, you're looking at a merit. So this line here, you're looking at a merit. For achieved, basically this part here, recognizing that there's a mistake here with the minus 6x. Okay, we go to the next question. Okay, so in this question, we've got 21 adults that are going to a movie. The cost is $14. $14 for people under age of 65 and $10 for people aged 65 or over. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a couple of sentences, like symbols here to use. So under 65, I'm going to use the letter U, and for over 65, I don't really want to use O, so I'm going to use just the problem of writing O's and zeros. I'm going to use the A, which is going to be above 65. And remember that these are the number of people under 65 and the number of people above 65. So straight away I can do my first equation, because U is the number of people that are under 65 plus A, which is going to be the people that are above 65, and this is equal to 21 because we got 21 people going to the movies. My second equation is I've got 14 times U, because $14 for people that are under 65, and then $10 times A for the people aged 65 over, and the group cost was $258. So I have two of my equations set up, and straight away, you only I'm setting up one equation, you're looking at an achieved here. So now I'm going to go about solving these simultaneous equations. Looking at these numbers, I've got 14 and 10 in the denominator. I'm going to choose 10 to work with. just because it's actually a lot easier to multiply by 10 compared to 14. So I could write this as, I'm going to write my second equation as it is, which is 14u plus 10a equals 258. Then I'm going to multiply 10 times u, which is 10u, a times 10, which is 10a, and then 21 times 10, which is 210. Once I have this, I'm going to subtract one equation from the other equation. So 14u take away 10u is going to be 4u. 10a minus 10a is 0. 258 minus 210 is 48. So I can write now u is equal to 48 over 4, which in fact simplifies to 12. Now my question is asking how many of the adults in the group are aged 65 or over. So because I have this equation, which is u plus a equals 21, and because I actually figured out what u was here, which was 12, I've got 12 plus a equals 21. So when I rearrange this, I'm going to get a equals 21 minus 12, and a equals 9. So 9 of the group, and I think it's just good to write this. So just a simple little statement that says 9 of the group were over 65 years old. So excellence is this part here, and if you get to one variable eliminated, you're looking at a merit. Cool, that's question 1, guys. Now we go to question 2. Okay, question 2, we've got a nice and simple one to start off with, expanding. So we have 3x plus 7 multiplied by x minus 2. So 3x times x, 3x squared, 3x times minus 2, minus 2x, 7 times x is plus 7x, and then 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. So really important that you guys simplify this. Have I made a mistake here somewhere? It looks like I've made a mistake. Where have I made a mistake? Ah, there we go. The second term, 3 times negative 2 should have been negative 6. There we go. Okay, so simplifying this, I've got 3x squared plus 1x minus 14. Okay, really important that you guys learn to simplify this. Do not leave here. Make sure you leave your answer in this format. So if you leave this here, you're not really going to get the full grade. So just make sure you leave it up here, and that should get you achieved. Okay, next question. In this question, we've been asked where would the graph y equals x times x plus 9 cuts the x-axis. Now we know y is equal to 0 to find x-intercepts. All right, remember this, guys, it's going to keep coming. So then we've got 0 equals x multiplied by x plus 9. So all it means is that x is equal to 0 or x plus 9 equals to 0. And in this case, x is equal to 9. So we have our two solutions, which is x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 9. Cool, that is an achieved question. Where's my colors? There we go. Now we go to the next one. Alright, so in this question, Manu's paid $38 to look after a cousin for 2 hours. She's then paid $13 per hour after that. She's paid $77 altogether. Alright, how many hours was she paid for? Now again, this question, there's a lot of ways of doing this. I mean, that's the thing about algebra, is that you got plenty of ways. But the way I like to do this method is, I'll show you guys, is this. I like to create a simple little table. Alright, I'm going to put down hour and whatever the pay is here. So for the first hour, she's going to get paid $38. Second hour is $38. But the third hour, it's $38 plus $13 times 1 extra hour that she's actually working. Alright, because it's $13 per hour after that. And then for the fourth one, is going to be 38 plus 13 times 2. So if I was to keep carrying on like this and just say, what about just h, then I need to look at these numbers here. 3 and 1. 1 is 2 less than 3. 4 and 2, 4 minus 2 is 2, 3 minus 2 is 1. So in this case, I'm going to get an equation of 38 plus 13 multiplied by h minus 2. Okay, so that's what my equation is. So I can straight away say h is equal to 38 plus 13 times, well, not h, sorry, that should be pay, whatever the pay is, 13h minus 2. So this is setting up the equation. Quite important that you guys set up the equation. And then now they're saying that $77 is what she earned. You got to figure it out. So 77 equals 38 plus 13 times h minus 2. So I've got 77 equals 38 plus 13h minus 26. Simplifying this, I got 77 equals 12 plus 13h. Then I've got minus 12 and minus 12. And I can write this up as 65 equals 13h. Divide both sides by 13. And I get h is equal to 5. So, simple little statement. Manu looks, how many hours was she paid for? So you can just say Manu was paid for 5 hours. Plus that 2 hours extra that she actually worked for. But yeah, so altogether she worked for 7 hours, but you know, it's that 5 extra hours. Wait, am I getting this wrong? No, no, sorry guys, sorry, messed it up. No, Manu was actually paid for 5 hours. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go to the next question. All right, so in this question, you've been asked to simplify. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my like terms. So I've got this one and this one. So combining those two, I could write them as 6y squared minus 2x cubed y. And now this is divided by 4xy squared. Now be really careful because like as I said in one of my earlier videos, people start doing this. You know, they see 6xy squared minus 2x cubed y divided by 4xy squared. I guarantee you, somebody always does this. They see xy squared and go, oh yeah, that and that cancels. Let's see, 2 and 4. Oh yeah, that's 2, that's 3. And they go, oh, that and that cancels. And they get an answer, something that looks like this. 3 minus x cubed y. Now I guarantee it, someone will always get an answer like this. But just understand that in this case, you got to factorize the numerator first. And then only you can start canceling things out. So between 6 and 2, my common factor is 2. Between x and x cubed, my common factor is x. Between y squared and y, my common factor is y. So I can write this as 2xy, 3y minus x squared. And now this whole thing is actually divided by 4xy squared. Now I can actually go start canceling things out. So I've got x and x cancels out. 2 and 4 can be written as 1 and 2. Y and y1. So leaves me with, in the numerator, I have 3y minus x squared. And in the denominator, I just have 2y. Okay, so really important. This is probably one of the easiest merit questions that you're going to get. And it just means practicing more of these simplification type of questions. So merit is here. Achieved is factorizing the numerator. Cool. Next question. All right, guys, in this question, I have a person's name that I honestly don't know how to pronounce. I'm sorry, I'm just going to call this person Mr. U. All right, it's just Unup. Yeah, I'm going to have fun with that name. Anyway, look, what we have is Mr. U and Tom live 15 kilometers from each other. So I can actually draw this as a little diagram. So let's say this is Mr. U's house, then 15 kilometers away is Tom's house. So the way to actually write this as an equation would be, if I take this point, Mr. U's house is 0, then the distance between U and T is 15. So I can write this up as U plus T equals 15. Okay, because the distance to Mr. Yu's house from Yu's house is going to be 0, and then Tom's is 15, so it's 15 kilometers apart from each other. Now the second part is this. It says that Mr. Yu skateboards 12k in the same time as Tom rides his bike 18k's. So I can actually create a little table. All right, if Mr. Yu skateboards 12, Tom rides his bike 18. If he does 24, this would be 36. So looking at these numbers, I can see the pattern. This is getting multiplied by 1.5. Okay, so what I can do is I can write this as if I take Mr. Yu's distance, then T would be 1.5 times the distance of U. So that's going to be my second equation. So I can write it as T equals 1.5U. Okay, so now they're asking, the question is this: if they both leave home at the same time. So this is Mr. Yu, he's going towards Tom, and then you've got Tom that's actually traveling towards Mr. Yu, and you're trying to figure out at what point they are going to meet. All right, so to do this, we're going to do this question simultaneously. So because we already have U plus T equals 15, we can write this as U plus 1.5, because I'm looking at this box here, T is 1.5, and that equals to 15. So this would be 2.5 U equals 15, which means U equals 15 divided by 2.5, and which means I get U is equal to 6 kilometers. So I'm actually looking at this part here. So if this is 6 kilometers, the other one is going to be 15 minus 6, which is 9 kilometers. Sorry, let's just get this right. So 9 kilometers. Now the question is asking how far from Mr. Yu's home will they meet? So I could just say they meet 6 kilometers from Yunuku, I guess Yunuku's house. Okay, so in terms of excellence, merit, the whole shebang, so we've got excellence here, just writing down that they meet 6 kilometers from Yunuku's house. Combining the variable into 1, you're looking at a merit. Or you can actually do this without algebraic expression, but just using ratio. But for achieved, you need one equation there. Okay, so that's how you do this question. We go to the next one. All right, so in this question, Mani's trying to find a value for b so that x squared plus bx plus 16 equals 0 has only one solution. So, I mean, this is where it kind of helps knowing some facts about, when it has one solution. The first thing is this. For a quadratic to have one solution, all right, for you to have a quadratic to have one solution, we need to have it as a perfect square. So if x plus a squared equals to 0, then this gives one solution. Okay, so if that's the case, then what we can do is, like, if I expand x plus a squared, I'm going to get x plus a times x plus a. If I expand this, I get x squared plus xa plus xa plus a squared. So what I end up getting then is x squared plus 2ax plus a squared. So this, when I have it in this format, will give me one solution. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to match this up with this particular equation. So I've got x squared plus bx plus 16, and from here I can actually see that these two things, a squared is equal to 16. Okay, if that's the case, then what I can do is I can say a squared is equal to 16, and if I take square root of 16, I actually get plus or minus 4, which means looking at b, now I can actually substitute b. See how 2ax equals bx? So I could actually figure out what my values for b are, because b is equal to 2 times a. So that means b could be 2 times positive 4, or b could be 2 times negative 4. So I actually get two values for b. I've got b is equal to positive 8 or minus 8. Okay, so this is the first part of this question where I've been asked to find the value for b. The second part of the question, I need to solve it. So I've got x squared. I'm going to use the plus 8 first for b. So plus 8x plus 16 equals to 0. When I do this, I get x plus 4 squared equals to 0, x plus 4 equals to 0, and so my first solution is minus 4. Now my second one, I'm going to use minus 8x. And what you notice is if I factorize this, I get x minus 4 squared equals 0. So I'm going to get x minus 4 equals 0. Therefore, x is equal to positive 4. So my two solutions for this question are x equals to positive 4 and x equals to minus 4. Now guys, I know I went really fast in this question. If you do want a different explanation for this same question, check out the one. I think I've done a tutorial on this just on excellence questions. You will find it in the playlist. So just go and have a look in that, and I've done it in a completely different way. Okay, so that's the end of question 2. We're now going to go to question 3, guys. Alright, so question 3a, we've got Aroha says that if she takes her favorite number, adds 7, then divides the answer by 4, she gets an answer of 5. And they ask you to find out what Aroha's favorite number is. So the first thing is putting her favorite number. So I'm going to call her favorite number as x. So what she does is she has a favorite number, she adds 7 to it, and then divides the answer. So this entire answer is divided by 4, and she gets an answer of 5. So from here, cross multiplication, which means we have x plus 7 equals 5 times 4. We've got x plus 7 equals 20, and x equals to 20 take away 7, so x is equal to 13. Okay, and that is nice and easy achieved. Next question. In this one, Jono wants to make a vegetable garden that is a rectangle. So I'm just going to draw a quick little rectangle here, which is a meters long. So the length is a. Its width is 3 meters shorter than its length. So if it's shorter than its length, I can say it's going to be a minus 3. Now they're saying find the area of the garden in terms of a. So all it is area equals base times height. Base is a times a minus 3. Now, really important, guys, that you put a bracket around a minus 3. Otherwise, you're actually writing the wrong formula. So putting this here is going to get you another achieved. Okay, next question. So in this question, what have you got? You've got weed is growing on a lake with a rate. Okay, might want to pause here and just have a read through the question. And when you finish reading it, you should see that what all you're trying to do in this question is you're trying to figure out what r is for this particular equation. So we have 486 equals 6r to the power of 4. So dividing both sides by 6, what I have is 486 divided by 6. I'm going to get 81 equals r to the power of 4. So basically I'm looking for a number when it's multiplied by itself 4 times, it's going to give me 81. Again, if you don't know what the number is, some of you might know the number straight away, and you would actually put down r is equal to 3. Okay, and that's absolutely fine. But if you don't know how to do it, just you can always do is guess and check. 1 times 1 times 1, that's 1. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 16. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27. 27 times 3, 81. So this is what you're looking for. So in terms of grades for this question, guys, you're looking at a merit if you solve this, achieved if you can get it up to this end here. Cool. Next question. Right, so we've got a couple of people that are wanting to play goal shoot for the netball team. And one of them is claiming that she does more goal shooting practice than Kazaya. They give me difficult names to pronounce all the time. Anyway, Kazaya says that she does 100 shots on each of the 4 days of the week. So that means we can actually straight away say that the number of shots Kazaya takes is 100 on 4 days. So that's 400 shots. So that's the first thing. Kazaya has 400 shots. All right. Now the second part says, Talia says she does 3/4 the amount during the week and at least further 80 shots in the weekend. So if you're going to write this as an equation, so what we can do is Talia does 3/4 of the amount Kazaya does. So that's 3/4 of 400 and at least a further 80 shots. Okay, so we're going to write this up at least, because it's at least, so she could be doing more than that or just that. Okay, so when we simplify this equation, we're going to get T is greater than or equal to 380. So basically, guys, with this question, it's been asked, is Talia's claim always correct? All right, now there's going to be 3 situations that happen. All right, so the first situation, is that she's already under, because Kazaya actually shoots 400. For her to get to 400, she needs to be doing between 80 and 100 shots. Now, if she does 80 and 100, like 100 shots, so let's not even make it 100, between 80 and 100 shots, so this is condition 1, she doesn't actually make the cut. She is not correct. She's not correct because she is shooting less. That's condition 1. There's a second condition, which is basically Talia shooting exactly 100 shots in the weekend. Now, if she does that, she is still not correct, because Talia actually claimed that she does more goal shooting practice. All right, but if she actually shoots 100 shots in the weekend, not correct, because she is shooting the same number. So the only way she will actually be shooting more than Kazaya is if she takes more than 100 shots. So 100 shots or above. So if she takes more than 100 shots in the weekend, then yes, she's correct, because she is taking more than 400 shots, or she's shooting more than 400. Okay, so those are your 3 answers for this type of question. So in terms of what you need for your grade is excellence with all 3 conditions and your inequality, sorry. For merit, it's 1 equality and maybe 1 statement, and achieved is looking at 1 equality or possibly 1 of the statements. So it really, this question is quite varying, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go to question E, which is next up. So here we've got 2 people that are getting a job, have a job painting their uncle's fence. Marina is paid $20 an hour. Viramu is paid $2 less than Marina. So this could be written as $18. Marina works 3 times as long as Viramu, and you are asked to find how much does Viramu earn. So first thing is this. I'm going to put down the number of hours Marina works as M. Hours Marina worked. And I'm going to put W as hours Viramu worked. So first off, I can write this equation as, because $20 multiplied by the number of hours Marino worked plus $18 multiplied by the number of hours Wiramu worked equals $156. So this is my first equation, and having one equation is going to get you nice little easy achieved. But I've got to look at this statement here, this one here, where it says Marino works 3 times as long as Wiramu. So make a little table. Wiramu works 1 hour, Marino works 3. If he works 2, it's 6. If he works W hours, it'll be 3W. So then I can write my second statement, which is M is equal to 3W. So once I have this, I need to substitute M into wherever this is, which is the other equation. So I have 20. So instead of M, I'm going to write the 3W plus 18W equals 156. So this is 60W plus 18W equals 156. And I've got 78W equals 156. This can be written as W equals 156 divided by 78. So W equals 2. So really important, what you've worked out is just the number of hours Wiramu works. So you need to actually work out how much he earns. So Wiramu works for 2 hours and he earns 18 times 2, which is $36. And that should get you an excellence. In terms of problem solved for the other person, relationship formed, so anything other than this, and if you had done something along this line here, where you've replaced all with one term, you'd be looking at a merit by the looks of it. Or even getting up to here. Okay, so that's it for this question. We go to the next one. Right, so in this question we got volume of a cylinder is given by this particular formula, and then a cone's formula has been given to us. Now they're telling us that the cylinder has the same height as the cone. All right, so there is my cylinder. It has the same height. There is my cone. That has the same height. But the radius, I'm going to put this as radius of cone, and here I'm going to put this as radius of cylinder. So what they're saying is that if the volume of the cylinder is 4 times that of the cone, so basically cylinder equals 4 times the volume of the cone. So now it's just a matter of writing all the equations down. So I will have pi, now r squared, I'm putting this cylinder, h, so that's pi r squared, which h is the volume of the cylinder. This equals 4 times, what do we got here, pi over 3, we've got r squared of cone, and the height is also the same. So once we have this, just a matter of rearranging things or just cancelling things out. Because we have height on both sides, I can cancel it out. Because we have pi on both sides, I can cancel it out. And so what I have here is r squared of the cylinder is equal to 4 over 3 r squared of cone. Now they're asking you to find the ratio of the radius of the cylinder to the radius of the cone. So that means I need to square root both sides. And when I square root it, on my left hand side, I'm just going to get the radius of the cylinder equals square root of 4 over 3 multiplied by the radius of the cone. And that's all you need to do for this question, folks. So looking at an excellence there. If you make an error somewhere along here and you don't get to the final answer, you're probably looking at a merit. And I think this is where people that don't attempt excellence questions need to have a look at this. I mean, just writing that equation, writing that relationship right there is going to get you an achieved. So really important that you guys have a go with all the questions. especially for those people that are just struggling to get, or not struggling, but more like lacking a bit of confidence in getting achieved a merit. It is possible. All right, guys, so that's it for this session. I know it's a long one. Apologies for that, but yeah, just trying to cover everything. Thank you for watching. Good luck for your exams. Make sure you attempt every question. You never know what you might get from attempting questions. So yeah, with that, I'm going to say good luck again, and thank you for watching.